To be a good trial attorney, you have to know a lot of things. Let's talk about some of those things. Hi, Tony DeWitt here. I'm a Missouri appellate attorney, retired, and I bring you a fresh perspective on the law without offering any legal advice. So pull up a chair. This is what we're discussing today. To be a good trial attorney, you have to know human psychology. You have to know drama, how to create it, and how to combat it. And you have to know how people react to obvious bias. And so that all figures in to putting the first witness on the stand. Now, yesterday in the Ali case, the first witness to take the stand was a city bus driver. Now, this poor guy was driving the bus and he pulls up on the bus stop, and the fight just happens to be going down at the moment that he arrives. And he provides some compelling testimony, and I want you to watch his face as he is testifying about having to release the victim from the chokehold and what he saw. You can see him sort of viscerally, remembering, re-experiencing, I guess, what he did. I mean, the guy's a hero. He saved the girl's life. In most respects, he saved his life, her life rather, because he was able to pull the hold off of the neck. And so this is a guy who doesn't have a dog in the fight. He has nothing to gain and nothing to lose by coming in and telling the truth. And his job is just to set the stage for the rest of the trial, to give as much information to the jury as is possible, and then to withstand cross-examination, which I have to say in this case so far has been fairly laughable. But it's interesting, again, to watch what the defense attorney does at the end, but it's much more interesting to listen to his testimony about coming up on a bus stop, seeing a fight, what he does, and rather than me preview it too much here, let's take a listen to what he tells the prosecutor.
So, as you're pulling up to that stop, Mr. Denicola, what do you initially see? What do you initially observe?
As I was approaching the stop, I noticed there was a commotion going on right at the bus stop itself. It looked like a fight going on.
Okay. And did you see who was involved in that fight, whether they were adults or children or something else?
Initially, I thought it was just teenagers being rowdy, but as I got closer to the stop, I noticed it was actually a grown man fighting with some teenage students.
Okay. And when you say a grown man, what does that mean to you, like approximate age-wise?
I'd say approximately probably 40s, early 40s, late 30s.
Okay. And when you say fighting with students, what specifically did you see, or what does that mean to you?
They were throwing punches at each other.
Okay. And did you see him do anything other than throw a punch at someone?
Yes, while they were fighting, while the punches were being thrown, he did lay a punch onto the male student who fell back. And at that time, the adult actually grabbed this female student.
When you say grabbed her, what do you mean by that?
He grabbed her by the front, spun around, and then put a chokehold on her.
Can you imagine being there in that moment and seeing this adult male grab a child and throw them into a chokehold? It must have been pretty stunning. I'm sure it probably froze him in place in his seat for a couple of seconds. Surely he thought maybe this was just a gag or a stunt or something. But no, it was quite real. And as he points out later, this was not something that he was prepared to sit idly by and watch.
And what happened next?
They fell to the ground, and he held her. A couple of other students came running over, and they were hitting him trying to get him to stop.
And where are you when this is occurring?
I was in my driver's seat. I had just fully stopped at the bus stop.
Okay. Well, did you do anything or have any immediate response while you're still in the bus?
Yes, I did. As soon as I noticed the fight going on, I noticed he was an adult. I started honking the horn in hopes of getting his attention and possibly getting him to stop.
Was that successful?
It was not successful.
So what happened next?
So I secured my bus by putting in neutral, engaging the emergency brake, and I went out there and confronted the man while he was on the ground holding the female student. And I told him, let her go. And I believe I said it probably 2 or 3 times, let her go.
And how did you say that?
I yelled it. I said, let her go. Let her go.
And did he?
He did not.
So what?
Oh my, that face right there. That face right there. That is a guy who is disgusted with what he saw. He's upset that he had to intervene, and you can tell this entire encounter made him mad. I mean, the man outweighs the girl by a lot, and he's a lot stronger. He's a fully grown adult male, and he is trying to strangle this young lady. And I'm sure this gentleman had absolutely no idea that this was an attempted honor killing, that actually the intent here wasn't to just choke off her air supply for a moment to teach her a lesson, it was to end her life. And yet, in spite of that, he gets in there. You can tell how upset this makes him. And again, I think seeing this is what drove him to action. You know, in a world where people will stand back and pull out their phone and record something like this and go, oh my, how bad this is. This is just awful. Look at this. Here's a guy who's willing to jump up and do the right thing. I mean, like I said before, this guy's a hero.
So what happened next?
When he wouldn't let her go, I bent over, I reached, and I released his grasp. He was not letting go. I had to forcefully remove his grasp from her. When she was free, somebody grabbed her.
I'm going to have you pause. That's okay. I'm going to have you pause for a second. And when you say you were releasing his grasp, what do you mean by that? What does that mean to you?
Well, as he was holding her, he was clutching his arm, and he was choking her. I noticed her eyes rolling into the back of her head. So what I did is I grabbed his hand and I pulled it off. Was able to spread his arms apart, and that's when she got free.
Okay. Why were you telling the man to let her go?
Because obviously she was in distress. Her eyes were rolling into the back of the head. She can tell she was not able to breathe. The look on his face and the way he was squeezing, he was choking her.
Now, the court in this case has done something that I think is pretty ridiculous, given the fact that this particular video is all over social media without a great deal of redaction. They essentially blocked court TV from showing the video that's a part of the trial. And as a result, you don't get to see the video that you can go find on YouTube if you're interested. I don't like to show things like that on the channel because it's just, again, I don't understand how in the world you could ever want to end the life of your child. And so this whole idea of honor killing is so foreign to me. I certainly don't think it's something we ought to be watching as entertainment. It's not entertainment. It's evidence, but it's not entertainment. In spite of that, one of the things that they did allow was what I would call a audio recording, because they look at the video from the other side of the bus and the microphone picks up the commotion that's going on. So let's listen to a little bit of that.
When we left off, we had just pulled up the roadside view and indicated the start time for all of these videos was 2:12:52. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And I'm hitting start or play on the roadside. And when we say roadside, maybe it's obvious this is just the other side of the bus from the curbside. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
The jurors were forced to watch the actual video with no redactions made, and they got to see the actual violence that was being perpetrated here. And I really kind of feel for them because that's going to be burned into their memory for quite a while. You don't usually get to see something that grotesque in everyday life, but sometimes that's the duty of a juror to witness things like that so that they can stand for community standards and let people know that no, it's not okay to do this to your child. Now, you've probably seen the frequent cutaway shots to the defendant, and he is sitting there just looking, I guess, dour would be the good word for it. He doesn't seem to display any real emotion. He's just like bothered to be there and doesn't really want to be there. He certainly doesn't give his attorney any assistance. He doesn't write him any notes. He's just, I guess, having to sit there and listen to what's being said about him. And it apparently doesn't bother him. Apparently, he believes fervently in this cultural norm that allows him to do this. And that, again, it's pretty foreign to me. But now his lawyer has to get up and do something with this witness and essentially challenge the narrative in some way. And what he picks up on as his initial approach is the statement that the bus driver made about the man falling backward while holding on to the girl early on in his testimony. If he was aiming for a Perry Mason moment, I don't think he got it. I'm going to cut this video to the relevant parts because this attorney fumbled around with the technology for quite a bit, couldn't find the exact place he wanted to go with it, and eventually showed to the jury the thing that he wanted them to see. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second.
Good morning, Mr. Denicola.
Good morning.
Couple of questions for you. Is it fair to say that prior to the few seconds that we saw in the video of the bus approaching that bus stop that you didn't see anything that was happening?
That is correct.
All right. I wanted to show you one other thing. You mentioned in your testimony at some point that it was that the older man and the female fell to the ground. You remember saying that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you've seen the video since, correct?
Yes.
All right. And when you say fell to the ground, is that in your opinion, is that an accurate description of what you saw in the video?
From looking at the video, describing what I've seen, it appeared that he had grabbed the female and they did fall back onto the ground.
Okay. So let me show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 501. And this, as we're looking through the videos, we can stop frame by frame.
Yes.
So this video, if I may hand that to you, or excuse me, that photo, if I can have you just look at that.
Yes.
You see that photo is essentially one frame after State's Exhibit number, I believe it's 14, but let me just make sure here. Yeah, I'm going to hand you, just for comparison, State's Exhibit number 14. Does that look to be about the next frame after?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And, Your Honor, if I could move to admit Exhibit number 501.
Any objection, Mr. Leary?
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Stone?
Yeah, you are.
501 shall be admitted.
And at this time, I'd move to publish, Your Honor.
You may.
Okay. Now, just so the jury knows, these do not have a date and time stamp. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. But we've identified it's in the same sequence of pictures that we looked at previously.
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm looking at this exhibit, which follows in time Exhibit 14. And what I see is the adult male and the female still standing up, right?
Correct.
And it appears that there's the young teenager with the Nike backpack there is running right at him, right?
Yes.
And he's got his arm raised on the right side. You see that? His right arm? right there?
Right there. Yes.
Yeah. And so we'll watch the video, but in this, it looks like everybody's on their feet, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when we watch the video, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see Mr.
Objection, counsel's testifying.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll watch the video. Sorry, Your Honor. We'll watch the video and watch what happens next. Okay. So let me grab the video. We're going to go back to State's Exhibit number 34. If everything works as planned.
And you're requesting to publish it?
Yes, if I may publish 34 again, Your Honor.
You may.
Thank you. Hang on just a minute. Let me make sure I get everything in the right order here before we start it. Okay. If you don't mind, I'm going to have to talk from over here. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the video. This is 2:13:25. Okay?
Yes.
Let's run this forward. I'm going to use a little slower time on this. Now, can you describe to us what you see? Who is in the right side of the screen there coming in? You see that?
Entering the screen, I see the young adult male. I mean, the young teenage male.
Right on the right side of the screen, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now let's just play this at a little slower speed. Can you tell what speed this is going at?
If you move that, yes. It's 1/4 speed.
Okay.
0.25.
Let's run this through. Stop it right there. Now we just
Can you
saw.
indicate the time that you stopped it at?
Yeah, this is 2:13:26.7. Maybe what it means there. Did you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, as you view that, did it look to you like the adult male and the younger female fell to the ground?
It appears to me that they're starting to fall to the ground, yes.
Okay. And did you see them being approached by the young male at a rapid pace?
Yes, I do.
And did it appear he ran right into him?
It does look like he appeared to run right into the backside of him.
Okay. And do you think that might have affected their ability to stay on their feet?
Looking at the direction that the young male was running, I'm actually surprised that they didn't fall forward.
Okay. But they did fall down,
They fell backwards, yes.
and there was contact.
Yes.
All right. Now, there's a tree right there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's back it up just a little bit here. Now, watch as he approaches there before he hits them, the young man in the Nike backpack. And watch that tree in the background, if you would. I'm going to stop this at 2:13:28. Did you see that tree?
Yes, I did.
Did it look like they maybe ran into the tree?
Yes, it does.
Which may explain why they didn't fall the other direction, right?
Correct.
So we didn't get the benefit of the video, but if you listen to the questions, what you have to be asking yourself is, what possible difference did that testimony make? What element that goes to anything in the crime that's charged, what element is disproven or even is even relevant to any of the charges? They're talking about the difference between falling forward and falling back and somebody running into them. It's not like somebody running into them the kid was obviously trying to stop the assault. It's not like it makes that better for the defendant here. It makes it worse. More than one person are out there trying to stop this assault. And I don't understand what the defense attorney was trying to do other than nip away at the idea that perhaps there's less culpability because one of these kids hit him. When he fell to the ground, he still had the kid in a grip and he was still trying to choke her. And obviously the bus driver had to stop that. So I don't understand what this cross-examination is all about, other than making it look to the defendant like you're trying to do something to aid his defense. This is probably one of the worst cross-examination sequences I have seen in a long time, and I probably cut 4 minutes out of this sequence just from all of the long pauses and delays when Mr. Defense Attorney here could not get the technology to work for him. So that's the way this case started. That's the first witness. And you have to ask yourself, did the state do something that was going to have a lasting impact on that jury? And I think the answer is yes. I guess we'll find out in a couple of days when this case goes to the jury. But certainly it appeared to me that this witness, a guy who doesn't have a dog in the fight, who's just there to tell the truth, scored some points for the prosecution in his direct exam and wasn't really bothered at all on the cross examination. Nothing relevant or valuable came in for the defense in the cross examination. That's what I have for you today. I hope you found it helpful, interesting, or maybe both. If there's a subject you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to send me an email at the address above. If you like what we do, please feel free to subscribe and come on back to the beach tomorrow. I release videos every weekday, weather and work permitting. If you have the opportunity today, do a kindness for your fellow man. It makes the world a better place, one kind act at a time. And now, YouTube has some suggestions for other videos of mine that you might like.